Hi everybody, it's Polly here. Yay! I'm just going to drink lemon jar. No, I'm just going to go over a little tiny itty bitty gem. This gave me a lot of joy in the day, and it's actually been giving me a lot of joy now. Swords and Spells. This is a classic from original D&D days. This is a massed battle system based on original D&D. Which is interesting because D&D was kind of based on a mass battle system. But what the hey. What they did was, what happens when you want to play wars in D&D? This takes the original D&D system and kind of writes it large. It's a nice little itty bit of rules, and they're 70s rules, so they do have some 70s problems, but they are actually thoroughly playable today. It's really nice. So these are Gary Gygax written and all this kind of jazz. So what they do is, in D&D you have your chance of hitting, and with the old Greyhawk supplement you got variations to damage. Different weapons did different damage, and different weapons had different chances of hitting different armor classes. You got bonuses. If you're using a Vector Corban, you get a bonus against armor class 5. Yeah, they had all of this there. So what they do is, you essentially have these little charts where you have guys thundering in with set weapons against foes who have set armor class. Well, we know, this was on D20, so we know a certain percentage of those guys will hit. And given the fact that these are the dice that they're rolling, this is the kind of damage that's being taken by the target unit. The hit dice of that unit lets you know kind of how many of those guys are going to, drop dead from this damage and get whittled away and so on. So you kind of start cross-indexing on this little chart of, given the damage I'm rolling, given the number of hits that I've got, these and the hit dice of the guys I'm attacking, this is the damage I've done, and these are the figures that are removed. Different types of troops and weapons have different bases that they're on. So if you've got some big monsters have to have big bases, but some little things like kobolds, you can crowd them in tighter because there's less of them. So a great kobold swarm, it's like, well, I've got my guys and they're on a 1-inch base. Yeah, but the kobolds, they're running up on like a half-an-inch base. So I'm getting 2 kobolds attacking each guy. These are hilarious. All of the D&D spells are in there because the D&D spells were written out with their range and their area of effect, and again, how much damage I'm doing. So here comes a kobold swarm. I've got my wizard. He's firing a fireball into it. Well, it's a 30-foot area, which is a template this big under the game, so it can center on those, and this is the damage that's done to the kobolds in that area. It's great. You can play D&D wars. It's got morale. Well, there was morale in the D&D rules. So again, that morale kind of rule that you're probably used to using already, this is how it works. These guys are fanatics, they don't run away. These guys are a bunch of screaming cowards, they do, Lots of cool, good old school illustrations all the way through it. Everything you need to play. These things, we played them a lot, and in fact, we played them with... there were bags of plastic dinosaurs, which back in the day, which bafflingly had rust monsters and ropers and things in them, which is where those monsters came from in D&D in the first place. Someone saw these inexplicable things and went, huh? Bugger it, I'll put it in D&D. So you could play these and just have a great time. Now, there are places like Otherworld Miniatures and minifigs. Now, the minifigs D&D range was done for these. That's why that range happened. Your pig-snouted orcs, your kobolds, all that stuff was done so people could do whole armies of this stuff. That range still exists. Minifigs, you can find them. These days they are done from the Caliver Books website, caliverbooks.co.uk, I think, and they run minifigs. But if you look up miniaturefigures.com, pig-snouted orcs and all those things, they're all there. So all this stuff is still there, so you can, yahoo, you can play your orcish hordes. So, the difficulties that you don't find in a modern game are those charts. The fact that you have to cross-index and say, alright, given your armor class 5, I'm hitting with Vector Corbans, this percentage and then go to a second chart and cross-index it. So there are 2 pages that you have to hop to, which you don't in modern rules. Modern rules, they tend to like everything to come off the dice. You roll all the dice on the table and that tells you. It's not a big ask to flick to 2 pages in a book. Or indeed, you'll probably photocopy those and just, you know, have them as a cheat sheet on the table. Yay! So, look, you know, so we do have charts and tables and so on to look through, but it's really not, it's really not a problem. It's just flicking from one to another. You can, now, the core game, you just took the average that you roll for damage. You could change that if you want. You can roll for damage if you want sort of a lot more variance in how things, or you could roll twice and take the average, or there's different house rules that we've put into this at times, all of which, you know, really work. But, you know, if you want your evil wizard to go out there and, you know, put his 2-headed ogres in his orc hordes, or if your characters are trying to rally the manor or save the kingdom, these fit in perfectly with your old school D&D game, because they were designed to. But it's a facet of the original game that's really vanished. Most people have sort of forgotten or never even knew that this was there. But it is kind of a vital part of original Dungeons and Dragons. It gives you the option of moving up into massed battles, or just playing those massed battles purely for the fun of it. And they are fun. We played these over many, many years, and they are an absolute hoot. And of course, you can play a military game and interleave role-playing all through it. So, look, a lost classic. It's up there amongst the Dungeons & Dragons collection online. Go and have a look. It's really worth rediscovering. And hell, if that leads you to buy more you know, minifigs, pig-snouted orcs or otherworld miniatures, then hey, the more lead in our lives, the better, right? So, cheers everyone. And yeah, if you like the videos, yay, like, subscribe. Whee!